There was this one time where I caused a major gas leak. It was 8 p.m. at night, and I'm under a crawl space, holding on to my breath, and I'm escaping with my life. I had to crawl back in to assess the situation and come up with a material list and to get the hell out of there. But I didn't die, so I've got that going for me. So here's the background. I was working for a young man who had taken over for his mom's business, property management. And he was, at this point, advising me on a list of things to do and repairs to make on a 5-unit complex, older buildings in, it would be North Park, or just west of Kensington. And the first up was that we had noticed a lot of growth, good green growth, overgrown plants at the front of the sloped property. So we surmised that there must be a leak. So I returned to the job to assess the situation. It's after my other work, and I put on my yellow rain suit, you know, with kind of a hood and a waist tie, and I tie it up tight, and I put my mud boots on because it's muddy. I could tell from peeking in the crawl space. I crawl underneath there, and it's 8 o'clock at night, like I said, so I've got a flashlight, and I'm crawling around, and I see water dripping down, and I say, okay, so this is the source of a leak. This is contributing to the mud, to the overgrowth out front, the lawnmower having to do excess work, the lawnmower person. And so I crawl underneath there, I get up underneath the leak, and I'm looking with the flashlight, and I can see it's coming from the bottom of a tub drain. And that's the old style. It's not PVC or ABS, it's brass, and it's coming right from the threaded union on the brass pipe. So it's leaking through the drain. So I said, well, this means that the faucet is not turning off. Now this is a rental, and it's this situation where the renters, they don't bother the landlords, they don't complain. I mean, they're, I don't know, Section 8 housing, I do not know, but they don't care because, you know what, they're not paying an itemized water bill. They don't care about the water that's wasting and going down the drain. They don't bother the landlord. They don't want to move, whatever the reason. So I am feeling up there and trying to surmise just exactly what materials I'm going to need for the next day. And I'm feeling around up there, but there's just too much crap in the way. There's too many other utilities. There's conduits for electrical, there's other piping. So I'm reaching up there to try and see if I've got room and what I can do, and I feel this rusty pipe that's right in the path of the dripping water. So, oh no, I wonder what this pipe is. Am I going to have to replace that? And I give it a little bit of a squeeze, and then I hear, I smell gas right away. So I scramble out of there, I'm holding my breath, get out the access panel, jump out, go to the gas regulators, and there's the gas meters, and there's about 5 of them, and I'm looking for which one's leaking, because one of them's going, so I had my wrench, I turned off that gas valve. Then I had to crawl back in there. I had to go in there and actually see what I needed now to fix the gas leak, as well as the tub drain leak. And later on I'll gain access with permission to go in and find out what valves parts I need to stop the dripping faucet. So here's the urgency of the situation. Yes, the gas was leaking. I had to get out of there for my own sake so I didn't asphyxiate, and I had to worry about the clients and the building not blowing up. So it was a pretty tense situation. The clock was ticking, so to speak. And yes, I had to wait for the air to clear before I could crawl back underneath there. While I was back underneath there, I was realizing, wait a minute, this place, this crawl space, it's not just dank, it stinks. And it's a shallow crawl space. There's not a lot of room between the joists and the dirt, and I'm doing the crawl like this, and I crawl a little bit further over, and I notice there's a sewer pipe. It's cast iron. It's cast iron, and the top has blown off. There's pieces of it on each side of the cast iron pipe. This is probably, well, more than likely, from a plumber who'd been called out to snake out the sewer. And yeah, he did get it flowing again, but not properly. And I mean, I can't really blame him. How would he know? Sewer's cleared. It's on the path to the main line from the back clean out. He's done his job. But the smell was so bad. And again, these tenants, they're not complaining. When I did go in to do the repair, I couldn't crawl to that area. It was just no room to crawl. So I had to get the tenant. This is the other side of the same building that had been split in two for apartments. I had to get the property manager, the son, to allow me in there. And I cut the floor open. And I replaced that section of pipe. And that was the repair. What a mess. But we found out why, or we got validation as to why all those plants were so lush green. And you want to know the lesson? Sometimes you're stopping by to check something real quick, to make a material list for the next day, and it's a life and death emergency. One problem reveals three more. It just expands exponentially. Good property managers like this guy, taking over for his mom, want professionals to do things right. They want to start bringing things up to code to improve the quality of life for their occupants, their tenants, their renters. Bad ones tend to wait till buildings explode or collapse. The cheap approach usually ends up costing more money in the long run. This man, I won't give his name because I'm keeping people anonymous, but there was a period of time where I got too busy to get to his needs in the time that he needed it, so he hired somebody else to do some floor refinishing in one of his mother's other units. And the guy that he hired was, I have to use the name because it's it's how I kidded him about it for years later. His name was Willie. I said, listen here, you don't know. Will he be good? Later on, he called us back to fix what Willie, who wasn't good, did wrong. So if you need somebody who investigates beyond the obvious problem, check out MrFixer.com. That's MrPhixer.com. 30 years plus of experience under houses so that you don't have to.